that little story about there was a crooked man who lived on a crooked road, had a crooked house, and he had a crooked wife, and blah, blah, blah. Then he ended up, had a crooked life. Well, my brother Sam, he used to be pretty funny. He's about 5 years older than me. And Sam could do anything. I mean, nobody can out catch him in football or throw him or play golf or whatever. When he started getting lazy, I guess the word is, we used to call him Sam the horizontal man. Yeah, and then he married, so he got comfortable. He stopped playing a lot of things. Some of you played golf, he just started picking it back up again. Married a very comfortable wife, Italian, cooks, he does everything for him. He just comes home and eats and then tries to get out of the house and hide over his Italian friend's house to have coffee. And he's constantly on Facebook looking at me. Now, I'm the 5-year younger brother, the black sheep. Oh, wow, you're going to California. Oh, wow, you're down Florida. Oh, wow, you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You're doing this, you're building that, you're creating this business, you're creating this business, you're buying all these houses. You're doing all these things. I will say it. You can do these things too. You just don't want to get out of your comfort zone. And that's what our theme is today, basically, is Steve and I just spent another extraordinary amount of money on it. He probably told you about it. We're going to change the back office and a lot of the things we're going to do here, and we need another 10 houses to pay for it. But we'll pay for it. But we already lit the fuse for green. We have 2 or 3 big horses that came in here. This is a network marketing company. Our products are real estate education, real estate education on how to buy property the right way, how to look at a property by just doing a quick walk around, because these guys are auction buyers. You have no time. You find a property today, there's no going ahead of time, because people save these houses the last minute and then they'll waste all their time a week ago looking into all these properties. I know Steve, he's here in the office at 5 o'clock. He is on the road. I tell people I get up at the crack at 7:30, and he's already in 6 different counties, looks at the houses, estimates the repairs, estimates how much the thing's going to sell for, fixed up, gets the money, and goes to the auction. That's his daily day, and Les does the same thing. We are trying to teach people how to do this quickly, efficiently. It's not always auctions. Some have a little bit more time to do things. But still, how to title it properly in their right name. How to buy it with a tax-free IRA. How to buy with your life insurance policy. All these little tricks that nobody ever teaches you how to do, that actually build you wealth in real estate. I mean, everybody's making money in real estate while who's hustling. But how much do you have at the end of the day? How much do you have April 16th? That's what I like to know. So besides teaching people the right way how to buy real estate, how to keep it safe, how to protect it, how to write insurance, all the other things that go along with that, how to quickly bid on a price, send the bids in, send 10 bids in a day. We do it all the time. If you're not sending in 10 bids a day, especially in the retail market or the not the auction market, but even those guys, they're looking at 10 houses a day. You're not doing real estate. So this is what we try to teach here. And the other leg of this is networking, because without networking, you don't have anything. These are broadcasted throughout the world, basically. If you get on the back of our cards, say, come to our Wednesday night meeting here in Nashville, but if you're not in Nashville, because I'm everywhere, go to this link and you can watch it live. Like your people might be watching right now from all around the world, people from China or from Russia, Alaska, on here all the time. And they're always recorded, so if you go on our website, you can watch it all over again. But I want people to start network meetings. I want people to have this meeting. Now, you don't have it this big or this small or whatever. You don't even need a meeting room, because you can just tell 6 of your friends from everywhere in the country or the world, hey, listen, we're going to meet on Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time. And if they're in China, whatever, because you want those overseas money people coming in to buy with you. I mean, you want those California people buying with you. So I want these groups, and this is the whole idea of Green. We're going to start groups in Florida, in Jersey, in Chicago, and in Columbia, and in Winchester. Westchester, what do you say?
Winchester.
Westchester, that's college. Now you can get to our TV guide, basically, and watch. You say, instead of watching TV, you can say, hey, there's a meeting in Fort Myers, Florida on today. And they're going to talk about real estate down in Fort Myers, Florida. And there's property down there. I get offers in now, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. $20,000 repairs, you make yourself a quick $20,000. Hell of a lot easier than buying these $300,000 things we're buying up here. And it has palm trees, which is a good thing. This is what Green does. Now, for $99 a month, we give everybody that bit of information. And for $20 more a month, you can bring in people and get paid. Because I don't want people paying $100 a month. Here's this one here, Robert Barnes, $71. So he brought in 2 people, or 3 people, and he pays $99, gets back $71. Well, hopefully if he brings 1 or 2 more in, I wanted to give free education out. But, we got to get paid something to gather all this stuff. Doc, Andrea, he's out there putting all these teachers together. This is what Green is all about. And we lit the fuse. And in June 15th, from the sources that I have out there, we're going to be flush. And whoever's comfortable, they're going to be left behind. And I hate to say it, I mean, we're here. We've been here for a year, and so with you guys. Now's the time to step it up, bring some people with you next Wednesday, and let's, I want to be handing out stacks of checks. Actually, I want to do all back later. Anyway, that is that. We are here because we bring excellent information. Now, you guys have been on a lot of those shows. How'd you think of Deborah last week?
I wasn't here last
week.
But 2 weeks ago, that was great.
Which one?
Trusts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
About trusts. I don't tell people what to do, where to go, what contractor to get, what, buy life insurance policy, buy self-directed IRAs. I have teachers that do that, but you can use Scott. Yeah, we use different people around here. I just like to open doors for people. I look for interesting people that have some fascinating kind of that I think people can make money with. The smells guy that I told you about. You know how much money I made from stinky houses? People back out of those houses and the price goes down to nothing. And I picked these things up for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Went there with, a half of a drum of Clorox and sprayed the crap out of it. And I just made myself an extra $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 because I had dogs. These kind of little silly tricks that we use every day, we do. Other people don't. And even me, I mean, I've been around as long as all of you guys, and I'm constantly saying, wow, I didn't know that. Wow, I didn't know that. So today we have another guy that I'm going to say, wow, I didn't know that. Even though I put 10 million foundations in myself, but there's always new stuff coming out. There's always another trick that you didn't do, or they do it over here, but they don't do it up north, or they don't do it in Florida. Well, we have no foundations in Florida. Just pour a slab on the ground. My dad, he's 100 years old, Italian stonemason, World War II drill sergeant. He comes down to Florida. We were building duplexes. And, well, first we were putting them there, and then the county came in, you got to put 5 foot of sand up. So we go in there, dump 5 foot of sand on there, and then level it off and pour the concrete on top. Like the next day, he said, you'll get it just settled. All right. Just pour it all on, put the fountain. When the thing goes, hopefully it stays on the top of this mound of sand all by itself. So these new techniques, I want to hear about them. I want to hear about how to fix a foundation crack. How much money can you make on that? They're $80,000 discounts when the foundation's right. Because they're going to say it's condemned. But we know it. We buy them. I buy them all the time. Hey, after somebody buys condemned, right? I mean, if it's not condemned when I buy it, usually the day after I buy it, the county slaps a sticker on it.
That's what I just told you.
Gotta be knocked down. We can save $80,000 fixing the foundation crack. Don't say that because it'll charge more next time we get them up there. But I want to invite Robert Elam up to talk to us about foundation problems and solutions. So Robert Elam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. He stated that he does not recommend contractors. I do. United Structural Systems is the contractor that I recommend. So if you have foundation issues, waterproofing issues, structural issues, basement wall pushes, United Structural Systems is hands down the premier company in the Nashville area to turn to for these issues. I'm going to be speaking to you guys over the next 4 weeks, tonight included, so next 3 weeks after tonight, about different issues. Next week, I'm not sure what the schedule is, but we'll be talking about waterproofing and taking care of wet crawl spaces, wet basements, talking about basement wall pushes. Sometimes you have to dig them out if they're too bad. You can't just put some I-beams on them and hope for the best. Sometimes it's got to be dug out, pretty expensive. And the structural issues, of course, when framing in the crawl space is starting to sag, and usually that's a situation where either the framing carpenters didn't beef it up exactly as they should have to begin with, or it's just an older home. You know, a lot of these homes around Nashville, I've been in homes in downtown Nashville, they're 100 years old. And I've gotten into crawl spaces and they were being held up by tree stumps. I mean, one thing I've noticed about people who flip houses, no offense to anyone, is that they don't do a damn thing in the crawl space. They come in, slap in a beautiful kitchen with granite countertops and tile floors, and put a new roof on it, paint it, and make the wife happy so that she'll make the husband buy it. And these houses that are 80, 100 years old were never designed to accommodate the kind of weight that these huge double wide refrigerators and other appliances and granite put on the framing. So we'll be talking about that too. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about foundation issues. And if you know anything about the Nashville area, are you guys from Nashville? Do y'all live here or no? Okay. Yes, some, no.
Yes, so, yeah.
we live on clay soils, red clay soils, and these soils are very volatile. There's a lot of movement in the clay soils around the Nashville area. When it's wet, they swell. When it's dry, they shrink. So from October, November through April, we usually get a lot of rain. Soils swell. Suddenly that door that wouldn't open and close properly will open and close properly. Or suddenly that crack that you saw in the brick last summer in August disappears. And you think, well, I don't have to worry about that. It just healed itself. Well, what happens is that when these soils in June, July, August, when we get these 98-degree days that go on for weeks at a time, and the soils dry out, these foundations literally will sink. We're talking millimeters here, small portions of inches. But when you go up to a wall and you see a 1/4 inch crack or 1/8 of an inch, looks pretty big. And these foundation walls will literally drop. The footer will crack and break, and you've got this break and it goes down. So what has to be done to handle that is we have to come in and we install steel piers. It's called underpinning. We come in with push piers. We take a square out of soil right up against the wall, usually about every 6 feet or so, depending on the structure, depending on if it's single-story ranch house on a level lot. I've done some homes down on Timms Ford Lake that were basement and 2 stories on top of it. And you walk out the back door, you got about 10 feet before it's going straight downhill to the lake. Those are special circumstances. And we would close those piers in maybe every 4 feet to guarantee that that structure does not move anymore. But we shave off a portion of the footer, slide a steel cradle into that area, and we hydraulically drive sections of collared and sleeve steel pipe into the ground until we reach bedrock, or what we refer to as substrata stable soils. Basically, we use the house as a counterweight. We drive this collared and sleeve pipe into the earth. Around here, it's usually somewhere in the 10 to 15, 20 feet. It's pretty deep. In Clarksville, we drive to China. I don't know what it is about Clarksville, but you just drive all day. I think it's caves, but we have to put depth clauses on those contracts because we don't know. We could sit out there all day driving just a handful of piers. Usually, though, 10, 12, 14 feet, you'll reach that substrata. And the pipe stops going down because we're using the house as the counterweight. The structure begins to lift up. We've got a series of piers. Corners on houses are very bad about being that area that drops. And you'll walk up to a wall and you see a crack underneath the window or right above the window. These stair-stepping cracks are notorious. And if you look at the frame of that window, frequently when the wall is dropping, they don't drop straight down, hardly ever. They drop and rotate. And when it'll rotate, it'll separate around the window. And if somebody's trying to hide that from you, you'll see an inch wide caulking joint right there. And on the other side of the window, you see a little, 1/8 of an inch bead of caulk. And on this side, by the corner, you'll see this inch of caulk shoved in there. Same thing, walk around the corner and look at the windows. They'll tell you. You can see the freeze board at the brick right at the roof line. If that freeze board is pushed apart or cantilevered outward, then that wall is moving and pushing it away. That freeze board ain't going to stop that wall from moving. So we come in and we put maybe on an average simple job, a couple of piers on this side, a couple of piers on that side, lift that dude straight back up. Our guys are trained in brick masonry. We grind out the mortar joints, match the brick as close as possible, bearing in mind that brick from the home is 10 years, 30, 40, 50 years old, and it's weathered, so we will match it as closely as we can. Every surgery leaves a scar. Very intelligent man told me that one time, and I have used that ever since because it's just a beautiful saying. It is true. Every surgery leaves a scar. But over time, as the mortar weathers and dries and cures, it becomes less and less obvious. And if you got a good brick mason, he can hide it pretty good too. But these repairs, the foundation repairs, come with a lifetime of structure warranty that is fully transferable. We don't put a name on the warranty, we put an address. So if you buy a home with the intention of flipping it, and you see that it needs some foundation repair, when we come in and do that repair for you, your warranty is fully transferable to the buyer that you sell that home to. And it goes right on down the line. The house can sell 10 times. The warranty just goes with the house. Do you have any questions? I'm just rattling away here. Got any questions?
Would the brick be decorative as opposed to, they don't use the 12-inch block, but the cinder block inside and the brick outside?
Well, frequently, these brick homes, they've got the cinder block around the bottom couple of feet of the house.
Yeah.
And you can see the cracks in the cinder block as well. We also get in the crawl space, and we can look in the crawl space and see that, there's separation there as well. Sometimes you'll see it in one area on the inside, we don't see it on the outside yet, or you'll see it on the outside, vice versa. But when these things drop, they're not going to get better. And the thing that I would tell you as investors and real estate people is don't let this freak you out, because what I run into every day, I deal a lot with real estate agents in the Nashville area. And they tell me that their buyers, as soon as they hear foundation damage, they run. And there's really no need. Imagine if you were to build a home in Tennessee and you were going to pour the footer. And instead of digging a foot or so deep, you dug down 12 feet deep and poured that footer. That wall ain't going anywhere. Most likely it'll stand there for a very, very long time without even moving. When we put these piers on a corner or straight down a wall, wherever we install them, and we drive them down to substrata stable soils, it's like giving that wall legs to stand on that go very deep into the earth. That wall is stronger now than the rest of the house. That wall ain't going anywhere. And if I had the choice of buying a home across the street from another home, and one home had USS steel underpinning on that home and the other did not, and I would buy the one with steel underpinning, knowing that it's warranty, knowing that the other home could have problems in the future that I would be stuck paying for, and knowing what I know about these steel piers, that they will make this wall stronger than it was the day it was built, then I would have no problems buying a house with steel underpinning. Yes, sir.
Do you find that if a house on a certain street needed your work, other houses on that same street?
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and unfortunately, if the house that we have underpinned on that street needed it to begin with, chances are another area of the house is probably going to wind up needing it as well. Now, not always. It doesn't always happen. But whenever we look at a house, we stand in the front yard, we look at it straight on. So whenever we're referring to a house, it's standing in front of it, looking at it, left to right. If you're over on this corner underpinning, there's a really good chance that this same soil that failed over here to support its structure properly, it's going to fail somewhere else on that house. I can't tell you how many jobs I've done, and the homeowner called me a year, 2 years, 3 years later. Looks like another area of the house is doing the same thing. I have stood in people's yards as we were underpinning their house and looked at their neighbor next door and seen that he needed underpinning. The same soil is there. The goal is to protect your little microenvironment. We make jokes about watering your foundation, but honestly, in July and August, when it's been 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks with not a drop of rain, pushing 100-degree temperatures every day, I would sincerely recommend to you that you consider taking the soaker hoses, the ones that just weep very gently, water out like Grandma uses in her flower garden, and wrapping around your foundation and allowing that to run for a certain length of time to keep a moisture balance. That's your little microenvironment. Look at your house and your lot as your microenvironment. You want balance. You don't want it too wet. You don't want it too dry. You want balance to keep that foundation from dropping. Especially, I live in a home with a fall away lot left to right. It's a gentle slope, but on the left side of my home, the cross face is about 30 inches. On the right side of my home, all the way at the far end, it's about 48 inches. I know in my heart that most likely, if I'm ever going to need piers, it's going to be on the right side of that house. Because that side is going to want to go down the hill in these dry conditions. It's just going to want to go that way. It's called Newton's law of gravity. It won't be denied. It's going to happen if it's, generally speaking, in the area that's going in a slope. Not always. I've actually walked into a house and seen the right side of the home going downhill, and yet you piers on the left side. It's kind of odd. I mean, it's like, go figure. But generally speaking, that would be the case on the right side.
Do you find a lot of these new construction developments, especially the ones built on the side of these hills over here, are they getting better putting the foundations in, or just slapping them up as fast and cheap as they can?
Generally speaking, I say thank God for bad builders, or I wouldn't have a job. But the reality is, a lot of houses, in my humble opinion, just from what I've learned in the field over the years, should have been under-piered at construction. Should have been under-pinned at construction. Should have had piers installed when they were built. I've been to houses before. One house in particular in Spring Hill, and you go out the front door, it's like 5 feet level, and it just goes straight down. And the whole front of this home, I had to go all the way down the front and about 3 piers up each side because the crack was about halfway up on the sides. This whole thing was just breaking and ready to head downhill. And I had to put like 30 piers into this thing. And at $1,000 per pier installed, it's pretty pricey. So, I know that as investors, you guys are looking for ways to cut, the amount of money that you have to spend on a home to get it up and ready for sale or rent. So we understand that. But let me ask you, if you would, to just grab the first page of the flyer that I gave to you. This house is a disaster, okay? Everywhere you see that little red dot, that is where a steel pier has been recommended. There are 6, 9, 12, 16, 18, 21 piers at a grand each installed. And everything depends on the working conditions as well. I've had to charge people additional money because the working conditions were horrible. We couldn't get crews back behind the house because it was on a very steep incline. Or we had to space the piers closer because I was concerned about the steep incline. The piers, I didn't want to spread them very far apart because we offer a lifetime warranty. And on the flip side of the coin, I've been able to go down to, say, $950 or even $900 a pier. I can't go any lower than $900 ever. But if it's just a ranch house on a level lot, it's wide open spaces and everything's easy, and there's kind of have to pull out 10 trees and 13 bushes to get access. Those things all make a difference in the price. So this particular house is going to be about a $30,000 job because if you look in the interior, those little blue squares are all adjustable steel jack posts that are going to have to be done because in this particular house, the floors were bouncy. They had drywall cracks and windows and doors not opening and closing properly. So in addition to piering to lift out the outside wall, the rear wall of the home, there's going to be a lot of steel beam and adjustable steel jack posts in the crawl space to beef up the framing for whatever reason. Like I said, sometimes it just didn't do a good job in the beginning, and other times it's just age. I've gone into people's houses before, and they have a gun safe sitting there. Well, this gun safe weighs, 1,200 pounds or something, and things 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. I put an aquarium in my home. I put a 40-gallon, 46, 48-gallon, something 50-gallon aquarium. first thing I did was go in the crawl space underneath the area where that aquarium was going to sit and put in 2 jack posts and a beam right there, right underneath that aquarium, because I'm very aware of what 50 gallons of water plus all the gravel and everything can do to stress out that flooring. But people do these things, and they don't think about it. I go into homes all the time, and they just lay these beautiful new tile floors, and they're cracking up everywhere. We put all these granite countertops too. The flooring is not, the framing is not beefed up enough to support that additional weight. So I would tell you that as an investor, if you're going to keep it as a rental or if you're going to sell it, that's something to consider, is whether or not the framing is going to be able to handle the additional weight of tile and granite type countertops. That's what I was saying earlier about a lot of flippers I've seen in the downtown Nashville area. Everything's cosmetic. They don't do, I've gone in these dugout basements, literally with tree stumps holding this house up. So that's something to be aware of, that the remodeling that you do on the interior can directly affect the stress on the framing of that home. A lot of these houses, 100 years old, they didn't have some big, Samsonite or Samsung, whatever it is, these big, huge refrigerators that weigh 1,000 pounds. They didn't have that stuff back then. And the flooring just can't handle it. On the second one, this is a little more reasonable. If you look on the front left corner, there's 3 piers going in. On the left rear corner, there's 2 going in. On the right rear corner, there's 3 going in. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's, not the end of the world. It's an $8,000 repair. But these piers will lift and stabilize these corners for this individual and prevent them having these problems in the future on those corners. Doesn't mean that front right corner isn't going to go down at some point. But that's one thing that I would like to make crystal clear. Because we do a repair here, it isn't going to help you over there. We warranty the area where the repairs were done for obvious reasons. People have asked me, well, what about over here? And I'd say, well, I didn't do any work over there. What am I warranting? It's nothing. I didn't do anything. They want to hear that. Well, you fixed my foundation. Why am I having a problem? Well, I fixed your foundation in the area that was damaged. So that's just something to bear in mind also. But we do free estimates, by the way. So if you have a situation in a home and you're concerned about how much it might cost, and this is how it's going to be worth investing in with the costs involved, you can always call us. And you've got my business card. You can call me directly. As I said earlier, I work with real estate agents. And one of the things that I found, even with them, is that when they call me, they need it yesterday. They're in an inspection period, generally speaking, and something's gone wrong. They've got just a few days to get this thing looked at and an assessment made. Which I am trying to educate more real estate agents so they don't flip out. These buyers just run when they hear foundation, and it's really, I'll have them call me. I'll say, look, tell your buyer to call me, and I'll talk them down off the cliff. You can do the same thing. Have them call me. And I can say to them, what the reality is, that this is not the end of the world. It's not even a big deal. It's just scary when you don't know anything about it. Okay, another one. Take a look at that third one. This is interesting. This is something that we do also. And that is, we lift up these big old steps in front of people's houses. You go into Brentwood, for example, very, very affluent area, and they will have steps up to the house, 8 feet wide, 10, 15 steps going up, some of these homes. And they will sink and rock away from the porch. And we can go in and we can put piers on the sides of these things, lift them up, put a lifetime structural warranty on them. A lot cheaper than demoing something like that and rebuilding it. Again, it's a lifetime structural warranty on the steps. So we can lift and take care of front steps as well. Some of them that are smaller, like some of the foundations that fail on 4 or 5 steps that are 6 feet wide, depending on the load, we can go in and polyform injection, like the concrete leveling that we'll talk about one week. We can go in, we can inject underneath it. The polyfoam swells, fills in the voids, and lifts it back into place. And that has a 3-year warranty. But you can do that a lot cheaper than demoing and putting in new steps. And if you need it, if it's a big old I've seen steps that should never have been bid for a polyfoam job that other companies bid them on a polyfoam job. I guess just to get the money. I can't believe anybody was that stupid. But some of these things, 8 feet wide, 15 steps, and they didn't even know left it was foam. That's not happening. So we would have to go in with steel piers there, foundation piers for that. Well, that last piece of paper, that's just the rear left corner of a home. And the piers, in my humble opinion, on this particular drawing appear to be pretty close together. So I don't know what's going on there. It might be a fall away line right to left. Maybe it's falling away in the rear right to left. And they're underpinning it. Bruce Harmuth, who's a really good guy, a really smart guy, one of our top producers, he's underpinning this because he knows that it needs the additional piers to maintain stability over the years and for us to be able to put a good warranty on it. We never oversell piers. I don't do that. One of the things that really torques me is when I go to a home and someone's undersold piers. And they will do that to get your business and knowing that you're going to have to come back later and put in more. So there's some very unpleasant things out there, but just be aware that generally speaking, on about 6 feet, maybe 8 feet, depending, but 6 feet is a good figure to work with. You're going to need to put pier to where the cracks begin. Where those cracks are on this side, where those cracks are on this side, you're going to have to underpin that area. And just be aware that if you buy a property that needs underpinning, that it may need more in the future because the soils are failing in that area. They're certainly going to fail in another area, perhaps. What's up?
So if you're building a new house, it's probably cost effective to go ahead and have them go down another 1.5 feet, the footer?
Deeper, thicker, wider footers will save you some heartache. Deeper, thicker, wider.
Is there any way to get like what you would recommend? We have like a building plan, what that should be?
I would tell you that every instance is different because, again, it depends on the land you're building on, the slope, drainage, all that stuff. Drainage is huge. I mean, a lot of people get foundation issues just because they're too cheap to put on some gutters. Or they leave the contractor's gutters that are on their house, these little bitty gutters with little 3-inch downspouts. They can't handle these torrential rains that we have. They can't handle it. So the water overflows, beats down on the foundation right in the front of the home or in the rear. And over the years, it doesn't happen overnight, but years and years go by and finally, it's compromised. I've gone to many houses and seen on corners where they just didn't have a good guttering system. I mean, I bought a home and had all kinds of just crap on there. I took the 3-tab shingles off and put on a dimensional architectural roof. I took the gutters off and put on the big gutters and big downspouts and routed them away from the house. They should all be 6 or 8 feet away.
Yeah, Irina's house, on the corner, they had the pipe that goes under the sidewalk and down the slope. But the downspout got kicked off years ago and drilled a hole straight down. I mean, you can put a rake down there and drill a hole straight down. Just, of course, underpin the footing, and then of course the whole concrete driveway slumps.
And also, I've gone to so many houses, it's almost comical when I go to a house and they've got a perforated, corrugated black pipe extending away from the downspout. It's perforated. The water's just running right out. I mean, duh. We go in with PVC pipe because it's a permanent fix. And we run it underground and then we discharge it down and away from the house. That way it's done.
What about responsibility for other? Because I've got a house that I bought. It was my second house in Nashville. I stopped at an auction. The guy said he was going to sell it. I didn't believe him. I said, okay, I'll bid this. And he sold it to me. And then I walked inside. I was like, man, what did I just buy? But it literally is, you want to talk about, it doesn't really even have a foundation. He's had problems for years. And one of the issues is that we had a wet basement. And I've got some guys that came in and they dug. I had them dig. I went 2,000 row all the way behind the houses to do they did the PVC, all the gutters emptying in about 6 feet away. They did some traps in the yard, you know what I mean? The drain traps in the yard. But he also told me they're like 3 houses down. He goes, that guy's going to get a lot of water. I'm just like, well, do you have any responsibility as far as when you put that kind of stuff in?
As far as legalities go, I can't say for certain, but I don't think so, because I think that, gravity's going to take that water wherever it takes it. It's not your fault. I had an instance once where I actually did work on a church, and we had worked on the other wall, the other side of this church. We came back on this side of the wall, and we went in, dug it out, cleaned up the wall, waterproofed the wall. I'll get into all that in one of these week courses. And then we took the drain. We had to go 200 feet away to get gravity drain, and it dumped on this guy behind me. And these are big 5 acre properties. And this guy came back on us, and he was yelling and screaming at me. And the property that we waterproofed, the water exited while still on the property, but it flowed to this guy now, where it had never in the past. And our company, being an honorable company, went out there and we made it right. But frankly, I didn't see that we had any obligation to do anything, because we were dumping water on the church property. It just gravity drained to this guy's property now, where it had not in the past. So anyway, and the preacher was a very nice guy. He was saying, look, I got to make this right. And I said, okay, I took it to the boss, and the boss fixed it. Okay, I made no money on that job. I worked on commission. I didn't make any. The company didn't make any money, lost money. But they made it right because it was the right thing to do, yes. But I don't know what your legalities are on that. It's like the guys like the 2 farmers who live in the mountains, and the one who cuts off the river that this guy downstream needs to feed his water his cattle. And then he redirects the water. Now this guy will have the water. I don't know. I guess everybody just starts shooting each other. Any questions for me? I told him I would keep it, and I've gone long, but...
Robert, I have a quick question for you from West Palm.
That's God. Yes, Lord. What do you...
I just wanted to ask, I wanted to kind of go back where you were talking about, that it's the same soil, and you have one part of the house that has the foundation issues, and that it's just a matter of time before the other one does. Obviously, if somebody's fix and flipping, they might have a different opinion on this, but if it's a regular homeowner, wouldn't they be better served to just say to you, Robert, if we're dealing with the same soil here, wouldn't it be prudent to deal with solidifying the entire foundation as opposed to dealing with one part, knowing that it's just a matter of time before we come back to the other?
Okay, now first of all, it's not just a matter of time. You forever without having to underpin any other area of your home. Just underpin one area doesn't mean you're going to do it. Okay. I'm just telling you that the chances are greatly increased on that same soil. If you want to go ahead and underpin areas that have not dropped yet, I again wouldn't recommend that, because this is a very expensive fix and it might never drop in your lifetime. So, I would just say to you, people ask me, since I've had this problem here, am I going to have it somewhere else? And I tell them that the chances are good, but there's nothing certain about it. You could go for 20, 30, 50 years and never have to underpin another area in your home. But I have on many occasions had to go back and underpin other areas in the same home. It's just logical because you're sitting on the same soil. But it's not guaranteed. It's not just a matter of time. I want to make that clear. Just because we underpin one area doesn't automatically guarantee it's going to happen in another area. It just tells you that that house is susceptible to this.
Thank you, Robert.
All right.
Any other questions? Robert Elam.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know if we talked to you yet, but I know we talked among ourselves to possibly be allowed to come on out and film some of your on-site stuff and get the...
I'm sure that would not be a problem. I'll need to clear that with the owners of the company. But
it'll be nice, because we want to put a course on about foundations. It's the bedrock of the house. Anyway, I wanted to introduce Larry. Came up from Winchester. Larry's one of our new coaches. I wanted him to introduce himself to you guys for about 5 minutes. Would you mind doing that?
No, not at all.
And tell us some of your pedigree and classes that you have in mind to teach, some of the things you're actually teaching now.
Okay.
Larry McCumber.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Larry McCumber. I've been in real estate now for 40 years. Bought my first rental property in 1977 in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in real estate ever since. I had a full-time job working with the airlines. Was in management with the airlines. Traveled virtually all over the world and worked all over the world. Had the pleasure of working in 37 different countries around the world. In fact, I spent 4 years working for President Marcos out of the Philippines as a side job for Philippine Airlines. But through all that, I was still in real estate, and I've never been out of it since I got into it, because it's a great way to do something that is fun. You can make a lot of money at it. And what's the old saying that you've heard people say about find something that you really like and you'll never work a day in your life, or something to that effect? And to me, that's real estate. I went to a class similar to what you all have either been to or in the process of working at now, to learn the right way to do fix and flips. I have been doing buying holes for some time. Didn't have any problems, but when I started buying properties and fixing them up and wanting to sell them, I didn't do it the right way. And I realized that I wasn't doing it the right way, so I simply went to a class and learned how to do it. One of the perks of going to that class was that you could go back as many times as you wanted to for a year. I went 8 times. I went 8 times because of the fact that I wanted to network with as many people as I could in the business, because we all learn from each other. We can help each other. We can partner with each other. Somebody finds a house that they've already bought a house, they find another house, they'll turn around to you if you've got a good relationship going with them and say, hey, why don't you take this house? It's a good deal. So we really help each other. After going to that particular class that I went to 8 times, they asked me if I would teach the class. That was in 1991, and I've been teaching ever since. But I've never stopped investing, because it's just an awful lot of fun. If I can help any of you, all you got to do is pick up the telephone. You've got my card. For those of you that don't have my card, I'll make sure that you get it. I'm available virtually 24 hours a day, because you can text me, you can send me an email, and I will respond to you within 24 hours. And I'm glad to help you find properties. I'm glad to answer questions on properties that you come up with. And again, if I can help, let me know. Thank you.
What are you teaching now? What's your classes right now?
The class that I've been teaching is how to do what we call sandwich lease options. It's a way of going out and finding a property. Instead of buying it, you lease it. And then you turn around and sublet that property to someone that actually wants to buy it. It doesn't cost you anything to get into the deal other than maybe the first month's rent and small deposit. You turn around and get that right back when you lease it to somebody else. So you really wind up taking no money out of your pocket.
That's nice.
You create immediate profit because you're going to get a down payment on that house. The person that is leasing it to purchase. You're going to get a monthly income on that property because they're paying you more for that property than you're paying the person you're leasing from. And then at the end of the lease, when they close on it, you get an additional profit. I'm just teaching people how to do that in a way that is very simple, and it's a good way to get started in real estate.
I'm here to attest that he really did a great job. He blew our minds on Tuesday. Marcus and I were just looking at each other going, holy, she's amazing, amazing. That'll be up, by the way, on the archive on the website, so you can make up your own mind and see for yourself. Larry is a fabulous teacher. He really is. He's not paying me to tell you this. He is worth your time. He's every 2 weeks. On Tuesday at noon, your time.
Gotta be a member. And the beauty of that is,
Let me say one
other thing.
I don't know where you all are in your investing. You may be very experienced. You may be new to it. But if you're going to buy houses and you're going to fix them up and you're going to sell them, one of the things that you need to do now and forevermore is build your buyer's list. As I said, I've been in the business 40 years. I'm still building my buyer's list because I can find properties all day long. But once I find them and get them fixed up and ready to resell, I got to have somebody to buy. So always work on that buyer's list. Go ahead.
Yeah, my first 200 houses I bought through that lease purchase. And the beauty with that is that they don't buy it, which a lot of times they don't buy it. They've been spending the last year or two fixing up the property for them. And they tend to take care of it a little more better. However that goes.
A little better.
Than a renter would, at least until they realize that they can't close. So that is a fabulous way. I bought everything in Fort Myers, Florida, with the lease purchase. And coming into the buyer's list, I mean, this is all the stuff we teach anyway. We used to put a sign, rent to own. You don't put lease to own because they don't own leases. Rent to own, and you'll get 30 calls an hour because nobody's credit's any good. That's who you want to fill up those houses with. But I always ask them the question, what neighborhood you want, what area you want. You build your list like that. You say, listen, if you want to deal with me, you're going to have to go to this person or that person or somebody else to fix your credit. Are you willing to do that? And I'll help you buy a house. And then you hook them up with a credit repair guy of your choice. We have several of them. But and they have in the pipeline all day long. I mean, if you have buyers ready to go, you can buy as many houses as you want. So that's another little tip. All right, Doc, you don't have to tell us who's going to be here for the next 3 weeks. We already know that. Anything else coming up on the horizon that you want to talk about with green?
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked. Marcus is putting the finishing touches on a new video course that's going to be, what we call our standing courses. We jokingly refer to it as our Netflix for real estate. It's a class that we recorded with Sharon Restrepo, and it deals with it's an introduction to wholesaling. And she does a lot of wholesaling in the West Palm Beach market, and is an excellent teacher. And keep in mind, people, every Wednesday morning she's doing a live Facebook class that you can just enjoy and share with others if you wish. So that's something that's going on all the time. But that's a class we're very excited about.
She's in West Palm. She's a 30-year buyer. She buys them, fixes them, puts renters in, and property manages them, or you can buy around at any particular time. So if you want something on that side of the coast in Florida, she's the one to go to. I have people in Fort Myers and Cape Coral and all that area, all the way up to St. Pete. So, we are starting groups down to there.
Yeah, very true. In fact, Mark, yesterday, Larry met Mike Cathell there in Fort Myers. They were on the video teleconference, and they were sharing phone numbers and emails. So I think we may have some deals going, Larry and Mike Cathell.
Yeah, I was on with Mike yesterday or today. We're going to do tiny home villages across the country. I mean, literally.
They're very cool.
Literally like the Good Sam's Club kind of deals. Marcus is really going to town. We have a bunch of tapes here that anybody wants some CD tapes of Larry Simon's. Larry, I don't think you're in there yet, but as soon as you have a few more sessions, we'll have your tape in there. We'll probably have foundation tapes in there that you can listen to while you're traveling. Michelle Moore. We're going to have a big thing on 20 CDs on everything on the house with Paul Kazanowski. So all these little mini classes are available as the weeks go by. Anyway, anybody want to? There's only one new face, two new faces that are members here. 3, I guess. If you want to sign up, go see Arena, or she'll help you out or whatever. Next time, bring some people, because this is fascinating stuff. So not only the education, you want houses. Nobody buys more houses than this little group here. We buy a heck of a lot of houses in this town. And I just gave Larry. Larry buys a lot of stuff in Atlanta. So if you know anybody down Atlanta, where don't you have a big crew down there? I just had a guy call me up. He's the assistant trustee for properties from Atlantic City, and I gave that to Dave Alzada in South Jersey, Panhandle, Florida, and here in Chattanooga. He gave us like 8 properties and a bunch of properties in Atlanta, and actually a couple of them here in East Nashville. So I am gathering.
Yeah, we've got them all over the country.
Yeah, I am gathering. Yeah, and so is Mike Cazell. He getting them all over the country. I got a girl out of Tampa. She sends me a daily list of 10, 20, 30, 50 houses, all in that area of that central coastal Tampa, St. Pete area, $50,000, $60,000 houses. I mean, I want to buy them all. Okay? That's the way I get. When I go to buy, I buy 50 at a shot, because I like to change the neighborhood all by myself. You know, so if I can go in there with a bunch of investors and buy 50 houses, guess what? All our houses not only go up in value, but we fix them. They go up an extra 10 because now the neighborhood's going up. And I always go talk to the mayor or somebody to get more security and police and stuff down there. So there's all kinds of little tricks to bring up the dollar value. That's not one way to fix a house and bring up the value. Well, that's such small thinking to me. I do a well-rounded vision. Anyway, I'd love to give out some checks, but nobody here qualified this week. Bring in some people next week. Let's see if we can give some money out. Thank you very much. Anybody online want to say anything? No? All right. See you again. Now, I say this, people say, I'll see you next Wednesday. Well, we have tomorrow, Thursday, right? 6:30. What do we have, Don?
Paul Kazanowski is going to be doing his introduction to fix and flips. And we are doing, hold on here. Jeez. I got to check here. I'm working ahead of him, so I'm.
I don't want to complain or anything, but Paul Kazanowski is probably the most entertaining, fun person to watch and most informative guy about everything about a house.
It's installing wood floors tomorrow night. That's what we're going to be talking about, installing hardwood floors.
Every time I watch it, no matter how many wood floors or air conditioners or electric I put in my life, I always learn a ton of stuff from Paul. Your members, use the membership, go watch Paul. So don't say I'll see you next Wednesday, I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you very much, and good night.